Connor,
but
listen to me right now. What you're saying sounds fucking stupid.
Just doesn't feel.
It doesn't feel
realistic.
It doesn't feel like it's something.
Like I love the idea.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
It's kind of pie in the sky.
Right?
Pie in the sky. It's like a groovy pie in the sky. Right? It's not really realistic, right? It's supposed to be stylistic.
It's not. It's pie in the sky.
You know, right?
Right. Cinnamon Dome. That's the one.
Kind of like a big deal, right? Shut up, Black. Shut up, Black.
Hey,
Shut up, Black.
But yes, TikTok taking down our shit. We have no control, have no say. It's algorithmic, one size fits all, super centralized, which is crazy. Think about that. They're implementing they're running algorithms and programs that broad sweep interfere with millions of people's their livelihoods. You know?
Right.
My manager was like, so you guys won't be on Spotify, but you're on YouTube? And I'm like, well, there's not a cooperative YouTube.
Got us.
I was like, there's not a literal cooperative YouTube in existence already that we could support. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wasn't like, that's why we're not on Spotify, because there is a thing. If there was anything else beyond YouTube, we'd be fucking on that shit already.
Right.
Yeah.
So
just to try and take a fucking first step. That's the other thing I'll say, like with Resonate, where our shit is streaming right now. Yeah, it's fucking not, it's rough around the edges, and there's all this shit wrong with it and stuff there's not even a fucking
get yanked off of it.
Right, we're not gonna get fucking
never have
pulled.
to worry about that.
Yeah,
right.
don't have to fucking worry about it. It's also this thing of like, if more people fucking invested in it together, you know, even down to the technology. If you're a fucking developer, the whole shit is open. The code is open. You can pop in, make a fucking mobile app, make a fucking desktop app, like help us out, help us make it more accessible and streamlined.
Yeah, if you're a fan of
invested in
Jaded and you're a designer, it's like,
Yeah.
it's
just
all
just
open.
make it.
Just tap in. There's a fucking
Yeah.
community forum. Help us fucking build it up. But like, that's the difference. It's like we have a chance to actually have a say on the shit that impacts us as far as distribution goes, and as artists. Never gonna happen with Spotify, never gonna happen with Apple Music. So it's
or Tidal, to make that distinction.
Right, or
It's
Tidal,
not,
right, or Audius, or whatever the fuck. What all these other, they're not cooperative, they're not democratically, governed.
No.
Any of that.
All these companies will do, all they will do is whatever covers their ass from a PR standpoint. And they calculate that. They're like, all right, Joe Rogan, we can just keep him. No one's going to there's not enough people that are going to, it's not going to look bad enough for us to take him down or to whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like Adidas, it's like, oh, let's wait until the absolute breaking point and then we'll distance ourselves from.
Yeah. The funny, I was watching fucking Democracy Now! Talk about that. It was, the way they framed it was so like, just like incisive. It was funny as fuck. It was like, rapper Kanye West has been dropped by Adidas for recent anti-Semitic remarks. Adidas has its own history with anti-Semitism. It was founded by a member of the Nazi Party. Right. Just the way Amy Goodman says shit, just like so matter of fact, and just moves the fuck on. It was just like,
what's his name? It's like Adolf Osler,
Adi Dassler.
Adi Dassler.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's like, it's beyond just like deplatforming people you don't want. That's not really what it's about. It's about having your shit on something that you have even remote control over, decision-making power.
This is the thing I always try and emphasize, because it's like people can't see the forest for the trees sometimes when we talk about alternative platforms in tech. The fucking transformative shit about it is not the fucking technology, even though that can happen too. It's literally social. It's literally the fact that we can make this shit whatever the fuck we want to make it right now.
Right. Yeah.
Millions of dollars or whatever were spent on the player for this thing. It was wrestled away from fucking VC, capital centric, focus. Right. So now we can make it a social, cultural, human focus
For everyone.
Right.
Think about the possibilities of that. And it's not even helpful to think about it as like trying to compete with Spotify or Apple, because it's an entirely different, like we're literally conceiving of organization and distribution differently. It's more decentralized. It's more, it's democratic. It's more like that's how we're conceiving of it. But it's like, it's just that the imagination thing. The fact that we have this here right now, what the fuck do we want to do with it?
Right.
Or are we just going to complain or make appeals to try and beg these people to somehow change their giant centralized machines in our favor? It's like, why even bother when we can just go over here and carve out, doesn't have to be billions of people or whatever, it can be help enough to self-sustain.
Help make resonate what you want it to be.
Yeah. Right. I feel like for, just to add perspective to it, it's like, we talk about democracy a lot. We talked about it a lot in the last episode. And I feel like one of the best framings of it, I want to say it was Richard Wolff maybe, but just like we value democracy so heavily in this society, but we put up with the complete opposite in our workplaces. And it's like
we value it in the abstract.
Right. Yeah. And it's like,
if even that.
Or you're saying, and we devalue it in our workplaces.
Yes. It's not taken seriously there.
It's not taken seriously.
No.
And it's like when you think about the fact that political power grows out of capital and all these, it's I don't even have to say anything beyond that. It's like political power grows out of capital, and capital is developed in the workplace. And it's like if you have one person in this workplace receiving all the capital, they're receiving all the political power. And if you're a fucking artist of any kind, there's a 99% chance that your work is going up on a digital platform. That is your workplace. Spotify is your workplace. YouTube is your workplace. You got to think about it that way. And say like, I would like to have control of where my work goes and how much income I get out of it, how much I
it makes me fucking cringe, like watching these massive YouTubers.
Another helpful way to think about it, utilities. They're like utilities. It's like, do you want this fucking middleman? Middleman Con Edison, this middleman Con Edison utility company fucking getting in the way and deciding everything? Or do you just want to decide it for yourself with your community, And like have it be flexible, have there be some like modularity to it, like everybody can make their own little node based off of these streaming protocols, and you set the settings, you set the whatever,
Right. Have your own servers at home.
Yeah, and the same shit obviously applies when it comes to video streaming, and whether it's short form or long form, whatever. And the Digital Zion thing is a campaign to basically try and get people who see this shit, whether they're developers, UI, UX designers, people with bread, to help us start building that. And 400 million, we're in discussion of partnering the production company side with the design and development agency too. So,
which is fire.
Yeah.
But just another point, just to tie it back into kind of current event shit too. It's like you look at what's happening with Warner Brothers, not only with Cartoon Network, but with HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
And then you also see like Criterion Collection, they cut like 20% of their staff. They laid them off.
Did they really?
I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Yeah. And it's like, dude,
what?
You know where that train's going.
Did they get acquired? Did they get bought by someone?
I don't think so, but also there's a lot of Turner Classic Movie, Criterion, whatever, like movies on HBO Max. You'll be scrolling through and it'll be movies from the fucking 30s and 40s randomly.
Right.
And like the horror section will be like Ugetsu or some shit. It'll be like a random old ass movie because they're like piecemeal selling off these IPs or like just doing deals and partnerships. And it's like, bro, we're going to get to a point where nothing is archivable, nothing is savable.
Right.
Where's it going to exist? Are you is it just going to exist in this ether of the market, and it's just going to...
That's getting increasingly more centralized.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one fucking company by the time this is all done.
Yeah.
Right. One fucking company that controls
that's
everything.
The funny thing. If you don't build it, they're building it.
Yeah.
They're all trying to build that.
Yeah.
They're all trying to build all the best shit from all the best platforms into one thing, and just when you have that, what's you're fucked.
When it really clicks, like the power of just like media as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Just the amount of capital it draws in on top of building a culture that says that this is a good thing. This is a thing that people should tolerate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of shit that people let Disney slide with just because like, oh, they made Little Mermaid and all these movies we love. And it's like, we all kind of have that cognitive dissonance where we know Disney's evil, but also like they made some of this shit.
It's the Nintendo effect also.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we're just handing power over to all these people purely on the basis of like, oh, they made a cute little movie for kids. A bunch of cute little movies for kids.
I think you can't miss the fact also that we are physically moving to a world where your culture doesn't exist from a communal intra-social space.
Right.
Yeah.
It exists in these online places.
Right.
So that's it.
Right.
So it's giving more stock to all these things.
Yeah.
Right. And
because
it's not,
that's it.
And it's not
Right.
designed around cooperation or democracy or humanizing, you know, like we're perceiving other people as humans. It's inputs and outputs.
Yeah.
And it's all about capital. You know?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's why I bring up that power of media thing, is because it's only going to reinforce itself also. It's like people are now trying to, I mean, I think a lot about like this pathway from like all these huge media conglomerates early on up until the founding of YouTube 2006, and you have this revolution where everybody now thinks we have the power to make our own platforms and like build our own audience and all this shit. And ever since then, there was maybe a few years where it was really like wild west shit and people are actually being creative and making their own shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it almost immediately gets funneled into everybody just chasing a different algorithm on a different app. And it just like,
oh yeah, now all the apps have an infinite scroll algorithmic based video feed. Twitter has that now.
Yeah.
You can open up a Twitter video and you can just scroll up. And it'll bring in either another video from your timeline or one of your friends. Doesn't matter. And you can just keep going now.
Right. But
so you got that on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram now.
Right. But it even goes beyond that. It's like, you know, you got to look at like what type of content actually gains traction on these apps. And it's the most inflammatory shit. It's the Andrew Tate shit. It's the Fresh and Fit shit. It's the Kevin Samuels shit. And it's...
The Johnny Depp shit was the biggest.
Yeah,
that was turning the kitchen lights on for real.
Yeah,
because it was like you watched who made even. I don't give a fuck. Even just like riffing on it, joke wise.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too easy sometimes, man. You don't have to pick the fruit every time.
Right.
Like there are really some times where I'm like, I don't have anything. It's too easy. I would get a ton of views.
Yeah.
But it's just too, because now I feel like I'm just chomping at every bite, every morsel in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't want, and it's like, yeah, you are like, we've talked about this before, but the political comedian, like that archetype, there's a reason that's like a whole grift, is because like, it just gets traction because it pisses people off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's polarizing.
Oh,
whatever.
you mean the right wing political comedian right now, or
no, just anything.
Just
Democrats too. Like there's people, there's whole accounts on TikTok which are some white guy being like, yeah, we call that racism where I'm from.
Yeah,
and it's just
we
stitching,
talked about that.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I know why, because you'll get that, and the dopamine or serotonin, whatever you get from seeing it go. It just, if you're not a hyper aware person, you're just going to start shifting toward, your behavior is literally going to start changing towards that.
Yes,
and it's like, I talk to people, not just my manager, but just people in general. It's like, there's like this modern thing where it's like, oh, of course it's not all about money at all, but like, you can see deep in their heart that is the only logic. That's the only logic. And it's like still potent. It's like, God damn, like literally no principles at all. I don't give a fuck. If it makes money, what's there to fucking talk about?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, you don't even like cringe at yourself. You don't even like feel a little like
a little bit of shame, a little fucking a little bit of hesitation.
No.
You know?